طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. حياكم الله في هذا الويبينار. Welcome to everyone in this AI and risk management webinar. Uh, Before I start, actually, I want to mention something very important here. Honestly, I still remember the time when this hackathon being kicked off last year with His Excellency Vice Minister of Transport, His Excellency Badr al-Dalami, and the previous president of PMI, Mr. Badr Borshed, when they kicked off this hackathon last year. Honestly, what a proud moment. What a proud moment when I see, like, even His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, when he agree on naming the the year 2026 as the year of AI. Um, what a proud moment when I see the amount of investment on AI when it comes to achieving the Vision 2030. Honestly speaking, it's a sign that the first thing, as Saudis were leading the world when it comes to artificial intelligence, the other thing, how important is using this technology, AI, and what have you, in in achieving the project's objective and the future of projects in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Again, welcome all of you, and we can start the presentation. So let me introduce myself before we start. I'm Dr. Hasan Tayyeb. I am the Vice President of PMI in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I have 20 plus years of experience in project management overseas and in the Kingdom. And it's my pleasure to be with all of you today, inshallah. As you can see in the presentation, and the topic of this webinar is AI-powered risk-based decision support engine. If you read the topic, it seems that we're talking about something very sophisticated, but again, to simplify it, we are trying to create or use AI to create a tool that can support the decision makers, project managers, executives in making decisions when it comes to risk and risk decision needed. So again, why this webinar matters? Like why we're having this webinar? Again, it's the hackathon. It is a competition between several teams. Each and every one of us is trying to create a tool using AI, support an area related to project management. And I am here as a mentor for the area related to risk-based decision support engine and tool we are going to create. The most important here is to understand what is the problem we're having today, and what is the solution we're going to create or to build, and make sure that we have the team ready to kick off this and work on it until the day of having that prototype ready. As you know, leaders those days need faster risk assessment, smarter risk assessment tool to be used. Like a tool can provide them with a real-time data, real-time assessment to a proactive approach. This definitely will help in making the proper decision in the right time, and this is the key when we deal with risk and risk assessment. So in this webinar, we're going to talk about few things. We'll start with some introduction, and then we'll go and deep dive a little bit on the problem we're having today when it comes to risk and risk assessment. And we will touch a little bit about the AI solution vision that we are going or planning to create with the team I'm having, and the expectation from my end and from the team end to create that prototype at the end, and the deliverables and the outcomes. And we'll open the floor at the end of this presentation if anyone from the audience have any inquiry or any question. So we'll start with giving some like refresh our mind about risk management. Risk management here, we are talking about uncertainties occurs or impact the project objectives. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative. As you know, we can have them as an opportunity or a threat to deal with several approaches. We have it to deal with risks, as we all know. Um, when we have a risk, we need first to identify that risk. We need to assess that risk. We need to mitigate that risk to deal with it in a proper way and take the decision in the right time. Definitely, in project management, when we talk about risk, risk will impact budget, will affect budget, timeline, quality, stakeholder trust, and you name it. Like honestly, risk, you keep monitor the risk from day one, even before you start the project until the last day of your project when you close the register you have. Today we have some challenges. Definitely, we have some challenges when it comes to the traditional way of dealing with risk without real-time data, which is the AI can support us. Risk often escalate before action. Definitely, AI help us a lot when it comes to like giving an assessment in based on the information, based on the real time information, so you can take the decision or do the mitigation in the right time to avoid consequence of not dealing with that risk. Bias in traditional method can underestimate delays. This is definitely an issue we're having in our projects today. Manual approach also lack of predictive power for complex project. Like when we deal with a small projects, traditional way might work, but when we deal with a very complex project, giga projects, definitely we need a more like sophisticated tool to cover all the areas, all the risk dependencies between activities. This is really a key that AI can support us with. Also, when it comes to real time, this is really important, as we just mentioned, to avoid like having the action after the fact. Other thing I want to mention also, some of the challenges that we are having today, even sometimes in some projects, when you give the risk team a risk register and you ask them to evaluate the risk, to assess the risk, to score the risk in terms of impact, in terms of severity, each one of them will have uh, different opinion. So AI might help on having consistency when assessing risks and give the proper risk mitigation. So this is about the risk. In our case, we are talking about the risk-based decision support. So we did assess the risk, but we need someone to help us with making decision in terms of scoring, in terms of severity, in terms of what is the proper way of dealing with this risk, based on experience, based on historical information, based on the benchmark from other projects, lesson learned from here and there. So this is really something that we all look for as project managers. Um, Again, when we are talking about AI, AI can deal with huge amount of data. and will help us with the prediction and the likelihood and impact, especially as I just mentioned, when we talk about complex project, AI definitely will help on that. Plus, offering the real-time risk assessment, which is really sometimes in some projects we have gap in that, and accordingly, taking the action will be not in the proper time. So we have to, so the issue or the risk become bigger and bigger. So just confirm, please, the voice is clear. Any other issue with the presentation, let me know. Otherwise, I will continue. Okay, seems everything is moving perfect. So again, when it comes to risk, when it comes to definitely we're working on projects, and each like all organizations have PMOs, and part of the PMO mandate is to deal with these risks and make sure that risk being identified properly, being listed, being there is a mitigation for each risk. There is an action owner, there is a risk owner. I mean, there is like all the information you need to have a successful PMO. So definitely, all PMOs admit or agree that having an AI or a technology in doing the risk assessment will help them having fast and consistent assessment across all projects. Even like with having a huge amount of data, AI will help a lot. And as a result of that, this will reduce delays and cost overruns when it comes to projects. Uh, Again, having this tool will give confidence when it comes to decisions. If the executives, they know that this, like the outcomes of this tool or the AI is reliable and it is based on a real data, this gives a confidence level, so the executives can make the decision properly in the right time. So, in conclusion, here, for having this issue or having the risk from previous slides, we know now what is the problem. We have an issue for the risk is difficult to scale. Severity of the assessment is inconsistent. As I just mentioned, if you give it to same team within the same company, each one of them will have his own assessment. So the mitigation depend on expert judgments, which is okay, but more assessment when it comes to like more other I mean not only expert judgment is the gives you the right assessment, but other thing like historical information, dependencies, real-time data can give you a more accurate mitigation plan and risk assessment in order for you as an executive to make a decision. Again, why this is matters? This is matter. Why? Because like as a decision maker, as a PMO, as a project director, as an executive, uh, having this tool will give you a better quality in your project, uh, will avoid the delay in making response, and not having this, you will have the risk of cost overrun and delivery issues, which we try to avoid in all projects. Again, when it comes to risk, it goes over like all projects. Doesn't matter what field is that projects, and definitely PMOs, project managers, executive need such a tool to help them in assessing the risk and make the decision based on that. So now let us a little bit deep dive on the tool itself. AI is a perfect tool to identify and assess risk. And here we are talking on a tool that can analyze historical data and the trends that we have in the project to assess or to help us assess that risk. Uh, Again, AI can help a lot analyzing a huge amount of data and can properly score the risk based on the likelihood, severity, prioritizing what matters most based on all the data, all the input that I am giving to that AI solution. So it gives me the proper assessment I need. Again, AI definitely can handle large volume of historical data beyond than the human capacity. AI can identify patterns and forecasting schedule and budget risk ahead of time. Um, AI speak our language, so it's easy to upload report, to print report from there. So it's a very helpful tool. AI even like prove its capability with some companies. Like there are some use cases already using AI in project management and even in maintenance work. Like Siemens used AI in industrial projects, reducing downtime by 20%. This is we are talking here about like shutdown, preventive maintenance, and what have you. So using AI is a perfect tool for them. And IBM as well used AI in IT projects, cutting budget risk by 12% and even preventing up to 18% of delays. When seeing these benefits, we say, well, really, we need that tool to help us analyze, assess, mitigate our risk, and facilitate for us making the right decision in the right time. Again, here is a more illustration about the case study for Siemens and IBM. A tool that can lower the cost of overrun by 12%, I definitely need. A tool that reduce schedule slippage by 15%, definitely something like all project managers and even clients, executives looking for. Again, the purpose at the end is to do the proper assessment of the risk and take the proper and like decide about the best mitigation plan for that risk and take the decision on the right in the right time. This is the key for risks. To conclude that section, so here is where we are on the left side, and here what we are thinking to go or what we desire to have an AI solution for. Risk are identified manually those days and heavily based on individual experience. Severity of the assessment, as I mentioned, is inconsistent. Mitigation planning is reactive and varies by judgment. Lesson learned and historical data not systematically reused, especially in big projects. This is where we are, and we need an AI tool to help us in the transformation. Uh, we need an AI tool to identify risk based on project goals. So I provide the project goals, I give the AI tool or the solution or the tool, sorry, the project goal, the supporting document in order for that tool to do that assessment for me. Score risks consistently, This is including qualitative and quantitative assessment. This is really needed, and this is one of the capabilities that AI can do. Generate structured risk register, and this is what I need the AI solution to do for me, is to generate that risk register with the risk in this register, and uh, build confidence in the decision that I am taking in this. Sorry. So again, provide confidence to executive of what I am getting in a faster way, in a real time, with a real time data. um, Definitely will help me as an executive and build the confidence that really this AI tool is give me the proper information, allowing me to make the decision in the right time. Um, in conclusion, risk 40% faster as per schedule delays, and IBM builds confidence with the data-driven risk forecast. So these are part of the or some of the benefits of using AI in risk management, in addition to the other benefits I just mentioned before. Um, so now we discussed risk. We mentioned what is the issue we're having nowadays, and we discussed the um, the some case studies that prove that AI is a helpful tool or an efficient tool to help them in risk and risk assessment. And as a result of using AI, we had some saving. We avoid cost overrun, schedule delays, and what have you. And we discussed also where we are now and where we would like to reach. In order to do that, that's why we are having this webinar, and I have the team that I am mentoring to help in the next few weeks to develop this AI tool. So we're going to integrate that, collecting him, like how AI will help us here in this solution, or in our solution that we're going to create. So collecting historical information is important here. Outcomes, lesson learned. Choose the AI tool to fit our projects and size and complexity. Train project managers definitely on the AI prototype that we are building up to the scale or the limited scale we are going to have. And when you create a tool, as you go, you continue develop, improving an accuracy over time. So in these steps, we can make sure that whatever data that we are, or whatever tool that we are creating, and feeding it with the information required to do that assessment for us, and based on the outcomes, you train people how to use it and improve it as we go to get more accurate result. Honestly speaking, when you talk about like AI, when you talk about technologies, even simulations and what have you, as much as information you give, you will get more accurate result. As much as base cases, historical information, information about the project that you would like to create, or you would like to build, or you would like to execute, definitely will help AI to do the proper assessment for you. Okay, so how we're going to build or to apply AI, we have to put a goal for us. A goal for us is defining the project goals, objective, constraints, milestones, and key stakeholders so risk can be linked to what matters most. As you give this information to the solution or to the AI tool, then you will get the proper assessment. The first thing you will get is the risk register, which the AI, we are planning that the AI tool will build that risk register for you with a clear risk statement, causes, impact, scores, and risk owner and recommend. And at the same time, by giving the KPIs and the information for the project, the risk register will reevaluate. It's an iterative process. As you, as there is, if there is any change or advancement in the project, definitely the prioritization, the severity of each risk will be reassessed, and then the outcomes we will have out of that AI solution. And at the end, a decision engine where AI can prioritize all the risk and recommend for us the best response based on all the information that I feed that tool to give me the proper risk mitigation um, risk mitigation plan for that specific kind of a risk, or for each kind of a risk as per the priority. Again, as I just mentioned, when you talk about technology, data is a key here. As you know, we always say this in simulation, in modeling, in technology, especially if a technology rely on data you give or the data source. If you put a proper data, if you feed your tool with the proper data, you will get the proper assessment. If you feed it with improper information, definitely you will get improper assessment. So data needed for our AI tool will be like project goals, objective, success criteria, scope, schedule, milestone, assumptions, constraint, risk information, like stakeholder information, historical data, historical project data, lesson learned, performance indicators, and definitely you will find all these data in the project record or the project documentation. Again, the availability of data definitely will impact uh, the accuracy, let us say it this way, the accuracy or the final outcomes of your AI solution. But again, as we just mentioned, especially when we talk about technology, you create a prototype and then you keep improve it, you keep develop it, you keep feeding it until you reach to a maturity level for that tool that can support the purpose of why you are using it to give you more accuracy, more confidence on the information or the outcomes you are getting. So, this slide gives us a quick overview of what we are expecting out of this AI tool. We're thinking of having an AI risk register and mapping all risks that we are having related to the project I am doing. Again, the beauty of the tool that we are going to create, it is not only for construction projects, but it can be applicable for any project. Decision card that gives you a clear, action focused, summarize the risk, why it matters, the recommendation for the response, and the confidence behind it. Life risk heat map as we go, as we move along the life cycle of a project, the priority of the risk and the changes, it changes a lot. So a real-time view and will give you uh, a, like or will allow the AI to do an iteration of reprioritizing these risks based on the changes, based on the advancement on the project, based on previous issues or changes happen within the project. So to have a live risk heat map, this definitely will help us, and the management definitely will need to pay attention on this because this is really needed. Again, an executive summary at the end, summarize everything that I am getting, giving me the top risks and recommendation for the action and the key limitations, if any. In conclusion, this engine or this tool analyze the risk by industry and project type, offering context-aware insight. Again, I'm not focusing only in this exercise in construction projects, but several or different kind of projects. Uh, benchmark, uh, benchmark new risks against past project, recommending proven strategy. So if there is any uh, past risks and a proper strategy being applied, and this is really gives a positive result. So AI can help in that tool based on the information I am giving to AI. Structured risk register, as I just mentioned, supporting the decision making process. In this slide here, um, as you know, I am mentoring this use case and I have a wonderful team with me. We're going to build this AI solution together. How we're going to execute that? We're going to have regular meetings to discuss, uh, to review the progress, and to make sure that the tasks we assign for each week or for each or bi-weekly, we're moving forward, we're achieving at the end, because we have, I believe, for this hackathon, a limitation when it comes to time. So we want to make sure that we meet in a regular basis. Team engagement, definitely the team will work with me on this use case or creating this tool. It's a collaboration at the end. It's an iteration process. Uh, Creating this prototype. It's not a one day thing, but it's something that needs collaboration from everyone within the team joining this use case. Uh, I will provide the full support for shaping the solution around real project management risk practices, decision need, and practical use across industries. So we want to make sure that whatever we're creating, this is really the thing that is needed in the real field. And also, I will provide guidance to ensure the solution is clear, relevant, and practical. Again, we would like to create a prototype that can help in making decision, and this is really what is needed for the business. Final takeaway out of this session or presentation, we all, I believe, by this time know that AI empowers project team to foresee and mitigate risk before they escalate, and there is a use cases for this across positive feedback when using AI in cost saving, in avoiding schedule delay, and what have you. And we have this historical data available online. And several companies, big companies, used them and gave us these outcomes. AI reduce uncertainty, enabling faster and more confident decision. And we stressed on that a lot during the presentation. Um, Again, as I just mentioned, using AI will help in minimizing the delays we might expect or we might have as a risk for several projects and cost overrun, improving the all over outcomes and the delivery of this project. Having such tool, a reliable tool, will definitely gives a confidence when we deal with stakeholders, whether this stakeholder is a client or government entities. One very important thing that I have to mention, even when we build this AI tool, this is not something that is replacing project managers, replacing risk managers, replacing the people who works on risk. But again, the human expertise is important. And this is just a tool to help you as an expert to make the right decision, as a project manager to make the right decision. But that does not mean that we have this technology or we have this solution that mean this will replace the key people who work on risk. Again, the goal is to have a smarter and fast tool to give us the assessment for the risk to make to or to allow the decision maker to deal with that risk, not only decision maker, even the project managers to deal with that risks, and whoever is making the decision making the proper decision in the right time and avoid uncertainty. Thank you all. I hope the information that I presented give a clear plan of what is happening today, what we are aiming for, and how we are going to achieve that together. The floor is yours now for question and answer, if any. Otherwise, I will be really excited to continue and to kick off this use case and start working with the team who's interested to build this amazing and helpful tool to support project managers and future leaders in risk assessment. Thank you all. يعطيكم العافية.
شكرا جزيلا دكتور حسن على هذه الجلسة القيمة وعلى ما قدمتموه لنا من رؤى ثرية حول دعم اتخاذ القرار وإدارة المخاطر باستخدام الذكاء الاصطناعي. نفتح المجال للأسئلة في حال وجود أي استفسارات أو أسئلة. يسعدنا مشاركتكم إياها عبر الشات. عندنا الآن الأستاذ يحيى عنده سؤال يقول how can we develop a private AI application to predict risk in a high security project?
Well, this is a good question, and this is the beauty of the tool we are going to create. As you know, uh, like sometimes, like a company, um, again, the tool that we are creating, you give her or you feed her with an input. So a company work in a private or a more of a secured data that cannot be shared. They can feed this tool with the historical information or the severity of the project and all the limitations that we are having within this project. And the beauty here with AI, he will try to find whether if there is any similar project all over being conducted on this, or to give you his assessment or its assessment. Otherwise, he will use whatever information that you are trying to feed him to give you the proper assessment when it comes to such confidential information. So again, this is one, I really like your question. This is one of the key things that we are going to deal with creating our tool. And I hope you can join the team or my team to specifically tackle this area in creating our tool. Thank you.
شكرا لك دكتور حسن. عندنا استفسار ثاني أو سؤال ثاني من عاطف. يقول فيه what are the biggest barriers organizations face when moving from manual risk management to AI driven approaches?
Well, definitely, like when you engage something new, the difficulties might be the resistance. Some people or some uh, risk team, they say, well, they seems to be like afraid of using this tool, and they will say, well, having this tool will let the company send us back home, which is not true. Huh? But this is part of the fear the employees they having in engaging such tool to be used. This is one of the difficulties, the resistance. So no one would like to use that tool properly. And again, the not anyone has that tool can get a proper assessment unless you give it the proper information related to your project so they can do that assessment for you based on your requirement, based on your goals, based on your limitation, based on all the information you have in your project. So if the difficulty is sometimes these information are not enough or not available, so definitely they will struggle using this tool. I believe it might be others, but this is what I have in my mind. But honestly, when it comes to new technology, the resistance from using the technology is the most obstacle they have. Thank you.
يعطيك العافية دكتور حسن. معنا سؤال أخير من الأستاذ عمار. يقول فيه the quality of the output highly depends on the input data. Risk
صحيح.
are specific to each project sectors. how are you going to develop these tools to be more useful if it's generic?
ممتاز السؤال. يعني احنا ما احنا حابين انه احنا يعني thank you for the question. I don't want to tell everything about the tool that I am creating because this is like one of the key things that I am tackling in creating my tool. Uh, like, I mean, this is a very valid question, but honestly, this is one of the secrets that we're going to tackle in creating our tool. So we can allow AI to have an access on several data and feed him with the historical information that can support the assessment and the decision making at the end. But this is really a point that it's a key point when you create this tool. And again, these two, such tools are hungry of information. As you give it more information, it will give you more proper assessment. And again, we're saying that here we're creating a prototype. Prototype means that this is version one, let us say. And as we go, as we feed the program, as we develop that tool, will reach to a point. We'll say, well, this tool is in a high maturity level that really can give me the proper assessment needed. Thank you.
الله يعطيك العافية دكتور حسن.
الله يعافيك.
شكرا جزيلا لك. ونيابة عن جمعية إدارة المشاريع PMA، نتقدم بجزيل الشكر للدكتور حسن على هذه الجلسة المميزة، ونشكركم جميعا على حضوركم وتفاعلكم. نقدر وقتكم، ونتمنى أن تكون الجلسة هذه قد أضافت لكم قيمة عملية ومعرفية في أعمالكم ومشاريعكم. وبإذن الله فالك يا دكتور حسن، أنت والفريق كل خير بإذن الله. وللتذكير
تسلم.
للمهتمين للانضمام لفريق الدكتور حسن، أو المهتمين في عنوان هذه الجلسة، تقدرون تدخلون عن طريق صفحة البي ام اي في اللينكد ان، وسكان الكيو ار كود وجوين الدكتور حسن ازمنتيز.
بالعكس،
وطابت مساءكم جميعا، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
يعطيك الف عافيه وشكرا لكم جميعا على حضور. السلام عليكم.